So I just wanted to make this video real quick, and I've actually been meaning to do this for a while. After somewhat extensive modification as far as bolt-ons go of this Mustang, tuning and whatnot, I basically came to a conclusion that I feel like at least a lot of the things I did to it was a waste of money, at least for the seat of the pants results. Because a lot of the stuff I did to it didn't really make it much faster, except for two specific things. And had I known that when I started, I would have only done those two specific things, saved a ton of money, and then just called it good at that. Because I easily invested over $1,000 more trying to get it to go just a little faster, and well, it is questionable whether I got any performance at all from the extensive modifications thereafter. But anyway, so outside of... My turkey will not shut up. He wasn't doing anything when I was sitting here until I started talking. Now he wants to talk. Anyways, so let me go over the list real quick of everything that's done to this. And so I have a 170 degree thermostat, and that's so we could tune for that a little better, because if you can lower your temps a little bit, you can get a little more advanced timing without having to worry about knock or anything like that. So I'm running a 170 degree thermostat. We're on the 93 PRX tune by MPT. And by the way, check out the Mustang playlist for all the videos of this car, all the reviews on the parts, and just basically going from stock to where it is now, including some runs at the track and top speed runs and whatnot, and install videos. But anyways, so 170 stat, 93 PRX tune by MPT. I got an aerated cold air intake, Auto Mafia ported upper and lower intake manifolds. I got an MMR water pump pulley, which they don't make anymore. Oh, let's see what else. Of course, I run full synthetics. I actually run Royal Purple in the motor, engine, whatever you would call it. We got a aluminum one-piece drive shaft. I have some custom cherry bomb mufflers with tips that I picked out. That's the exhaust system we're running on it. BBK shorty headers, and 373 gears. I believe that's everything. So anyways, and seriously, hands down, the two best modifications, at least bang for buck, made the most difference. It's got to be the 373 gears and the tune. I put the cold air intake on there, didn't really notice anything. I mean, obviously there's a small gain there, but nothing that I could notice. Generally, I have a pretty good butt meter to where I notice small differences, but I honestly couldn't really notice a difference with the cold air intake. So, you know, that was $300 some odd, and I didn't really feel anything from that. Same thing with the headers, but I knew that going into the headers that I think it's 4 horsepower maximum gain peak from the shorty headers. I know you can get more from the long tubes, but I don't like the way the long tubes make these cars sound personally. If you like that raspy tin can sound, that's fine, but I don't like that. I had a specific way I wanted this car to sound, and I pretty much have that sound now, but that was part of my decision for going with the shorties. And they did change the tone a little bit. So I knew I wasn't going to gain much from that, and did it anyways. The drive shaft is just so we can safely go really fast, because I like to go really fast, because there's reports of the stock unit disintegrating at high speeds, so that's why I replaced that. Let's see, the cherry bombs, again, that was just a sound thing. I'm sure we picked up a little power from getting the stock mufflers off of there, and I didn't expect to, and certainly did not feel any difference from that. Obviously it was just sound difference, but so I knew I wasn't going to really feel anything from that. But the one that really got me was I matched the headers with the ported upper and lower intake manifolds, and I've seen all kinds of reviews where those would give you like 12 to 15 horsepower on a stock motor, and if you had the long tubes, even more. So I kind of expected to feel something from that, and it'd make the car faster, especially when paired with the headers, because I did them at the same time pretty much. And it didn't really feel any faster. Like, it pulls a little stronger on top end, and I mean a little, but that's all I noticed. Now I'm going to be doing a retune to see if that makes a difference. Now, MPT told me I don't need to retune for those, but I'm still going to request a retune. I'm going to support some data logging and such like that to see if I can get an increase there. But yeah, just throwing those on with the headers, I didn't really feel anything. That really sucked because that was about $1,000 and a lot of work. That was a massive amount of money for me, and then to not make the car any faster, because I went and ran it at the track after installing this, and we actually ran slower. So it in fact did not make the car faster. If anything, it made it slower. Now that doesn't really make sense, and there's a few theories on that video as to why the car ran slower. Possibly the change in the low end torque from adding those parts, because they're, it's focused on top end power, and my 60-foot times at the track were a little lower on those runs, so that's probably why I had a slower overall elapsed time. But I gotta say, adding performance parts like that, I certainly didn't expect to lose time. I mean, maybe stay the same, but the car actually ran slower. Like I said, there's a few other theories on that too. Maybe the gas wasn't so great that day and whatnot. But that's also part of the reason I'm gonna do some data logging and get it retuned to see if we can knock a few tenths off of the quarter mile. But even at that would be the most I would expect to gain, would be a 1 or 2 tenths after a retune on that. So but before this video gets too much longer, because I already feel like I've been rambling for quite a few minutes, and we'll go take a quick spin after this. Hands down, the 93 PRX tune and the 373 gears, both of those made a huge difference. So I actually had the SCT X4, and I was just running its base map first, and there's just a massive difference between getting that custom tune and even the SCT base map, which did improve the car a little bit over stock. But even though I had it tuned on the base map, when I went to that custom tune, man, there was a huge difference. Definitely recommend the 93 tune, and I went 93 also to get maximum performance, because you can also do a 91 tune, because like around here 90% of the gas stations only have 91, so there's only a couple I can go to and get 93 at, but I had to verify that first. So I do run the 93 tune for maximum performance and timing advance and all that, to get the most amount of power possible. But yeah, that tune made a massive difference, even with the factory 273 gears. It just, you could tell it had so much more power, so much more throttle response. Like, it just felt like a turd to me when it was stock, because that super tall gearing, and with it being a V6, it doesn't have a lot of torque like a V8. And that tuning just made a massive difference. It was like night and day. I was so happy. So that getting the tuner and getting that custom tune, definitely worth it. And then the 373 gears, especially in the automatic, make a massive difference. I would punch this thing when it was stock, and it would just leisurely take off the line, no frying tires or nothing. And with those 373s in there, it just rips off the line now. Now, it would depend on what kind of tires you have and your road surface, because during hot summer days on real good pavement, it'll just get a little spin, a half spin, and then hook and go. But on colder days and on different surfaces, it'll just fry them all the way through first. So but yeah, it makes a massive difference on not only like off the line acceleration, obviously, but even just driving around. And I almost wish I went with 410s. That way, with sticky tires and a hot surface, I could still rip off the line. Because with sticky tires and a hot surface, there is a half a second of hesitation before it really gets going. Because first gear is still not quite low enough. But going from the factory 273s to the 373s, massive difference. And like I said, not just off a line, but just general all-around driving. When you go to pass somebody and it downshifts, so just like immediate power instead of having to wait for power like you do with the 273s. Way more throttle response just driving around. I can go up hills now in last gear without it downshifting or anything like that, or struggling to get up the hill like it did with the factory 273s. So yeah, it's just those massive awesome differences. So those would be the two mods that I would say are the best. And that's, of course, you know, speaking anything outside of nitrous and forced induction, because obviously a $6,000 turbo kit would be badass. but yeah, seriously, hands down, 373 gears and 93 tune is the two best things you can do to this car. And everything else after that just seems like a waste of money by comparison without going nitrous or forced induction. So you have to forgive me for being a little dirty. It is winter in Ohio as of the time of this recording. Okay, so we're on a bumpy road now. Sorry for the shakes. Anyways, so again, check out the Mustang playlist for all the reviews, if you will, product installs, different runs at different stages of the build. And but yeah, seriously, those are the two best things you can do for one of these. Whoa, dead animal. 373 gears, regardless of what yours comes with, either 273 or 331s. Definitely go 373s and get you a 93 tune, and yeah, you'll be zooming along. We'll have all four corners, pads and rotors coming up, video on that. Same for shocks and struts. As far as performance modifications this year, not sure. I've been eyeballing NOS, just a small shot, 50 or 75, until I can afford my $6,000 turbo kit. So we might have some of that coming up. Definitely the repair videos for the brakes and the shocks, but performance modifications from here on out yet to be determined. Possibly nitrous. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.